In the previous episode, we worked through sales, setting up revenue for the basic subscription, adding cost of sales, and then analyzing profitability. We now have a clear picture of what each subscription earns and what it directly costs to deliver. Now, we are moving into the expenses section, which is where we see the full cost picture of the business and where we start building out the operating costs that sits below gross profit. Click on expenses in the left hand menu. The first thing you will notice is that you are not arriving at the blank page. The expenses section has 5 tabs across the top: dashboard, departments, cost of sales, operational, salaries, and capital. Each one is a dedicated view for a different category of cost. You land on the dashboard tab by default, and this is important because it's the only place in the model where you can see all of your costs in one view at the same time. At the top of the dashboard, you have the current month planned expenditure row. This shows 4 figures for that current month: total expenses, cost of sales, operational expenses, and capital expenses. Below that is the cost overview section. This shows your total spend year by year broken down by category across the full 5-year forecast. Before adding any new expenses, this already reflects the cost already in the model, including the cloud service cost of sales from the sales section and SEO marketing cost already set up as operational expense. The 2026 row shows 8,500, which is 27 cost of sales and 18,500 operational cost. By 2030, the total grows to 105,000. Further down, you will see a department breakdown chart showing that operational spend is currently concentrated in marketing. This is the shared view. Every cost category fits into it, regardless of where in the tool it was created. Now switch to the operational tab. This is the dedicated tab for operational expenses, the running cost of the business, separate from what it costs to deliver each sale or invest in equipment. At the top, 2 headline figures give you an immediate view sense of scale. This month OpEx, what's planned for the current month. This year OpEx, the total operational spend for the year, currently at 18,500. Below that, there are 2 subviews: dashboard and planned expenses. The dashboard subview shows your top 5 expenses in the next 12 months. So at a glance, you can see which operational costs dominate the budget. Right now, SEO services takes 94% and keyword search software 6%. There are also a year-over-year comparison bar chart showing how total OpEx evolve across the 5-year plan. Switch to planned expenses and you see the same cost in the table form, grouped by category and broken down year by year. This is where we go when you want to check a specific line item, verify a number, or understand what's driving a particular year spend. This tab is your dedicated workspace for operational costs. It shows what's already planned and gives you for updates. There are 2 routes to add a new operational expense. The first is to click Add Operational Expenses directly from Operational tab. This takes you straight to the setup form and OpEx item. The second is to use the Add Expense button on the main Expenses dashboard tab, which opens a drop-down where you choose the type between salaries and wages, operational expenses, capital expenses, or cost of sales. This route is useful when you are on the dashboard and want to add any type of cost without switching tabs first. Both routes leads you to the same setup page. In this episode, we will use the button from the Operational tab, so let's press it now. The setup page opens with 2 top-level fields: the scenario and the category dropdown. Clicking category reveals a list of operational cost categories: accounting, banking, payments, insurance, and many more. We select insurance for this example. A second dropdown then appears with a specific insurance types like cyber liability, errors and omissions, general liability, and others. We will select professional liability insurance. The form now reveals all the fields needed to define this expense. First, the company name field defaults to unknown. Always change this to something recognizable. We enter Arch Insurance, the name of the provider. When your plan expenses list grows to the 20 or 30 items, being able to read the name and immediately know what cost it is, it saves you a lot of time. Next, the start date, June 2026, when the policy begins. There is also an optional end date if the contract has a fixed term. To the right, department is already set to the finance, correct for an insurance cost. This feeds directly into the department breakdown chart on the main dashboard. Below the dates, you choose how the expense behave over time. 3 options appear. Frequency-based cost, which means the cost recurs at the regular interval with optional annual inflation. Growth-based cost, which means that cost scales with a growth rate you define. And the yearly cost adjustment, which allows you to enter a specific amount for each individual year. For insurance, frequency-based cost is the right choice and is already ticked. Then we select the payment frequency. A professional liability policy renew annually, so we choose once a year. Then we need a cost and cost increase. Let's set that at 2,400, which is a realistic number for annual premium for a small SaaS startup, and 5% a reasonable assumptions for insurance premium growing each year. Finally, 2 VAT options: include VAT in price or exclude VAT from price. UK business insurance is typically VAT exempt, so we leave both unticked. The model treats 2,400 as a final cost. Click Save. The model saves instantly and returns you to the operational expenses tab. Not to a blank page, but directly to the summary view where you can immediately see the effect of what you've just added. The numbers have updated in real time. This year, OpEx have moved from 18,500 to 20,1900. Exactly 2,400 annual premium added. The top 5 expenses chart now shows 3 items: SEO services, professional liability insurance, and keyword search software. The year-over-year comparison bars are marginally taller in every year because the 5% inflation assumption and the extra cost added. Means that premium compounds from 2,400 in 2026 to 2,520 in 2027 and so on. You can also switch to the planned expense subview and you will see the new insurance category row alongside the marketing. A clean, organized breakdown of every operational expense in the model by category and year. Switch back to the expense main dashboard tab to see the full picture update. This is the central value of the expense dashboard. It doesn't matter which tab or which section you use to add the cost, everything flows into the single view immediately. Your cost of sales from the sales section sits next to your operational expenses and capital expenses in the same table, giving you a complete and accurate total cost picture at any point. So in this episode, we moved from sales into the expense section and explored how is it structured. We looked at the expenses main dashboard, the only view that shows all cost types together, and then spent time in the operational tab, which gives you a dedicated tools to manage and analyze your day-to-day running costs. We then added a new operational expenses, professional liability insurance through Arch Insurance at 2,400 per year, with 5% annual inflation assigned to the finance department. In the next episode, we will look at salaries and hiring plans, the people side of the business, so we can add the single largest cost category for the most startups into the model and start to see a true complete P&L picture.